What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the little chit chat as we do a
How's it
little
going?
pre Andor
What is
discussion.
going on, everybody?
Oh, hold on a sec. My
Welcome
bad.
to the little chit chat as we.
Not
Got
doing that
the
correctly.
YouTube audio.
Yeah, I forgot I had that going. How you doing tonight, Eric?
Doing all right. We got new Star Wars. It's always good.
We got new Star Wars, and that is always good, man. When is it bad that we have new Star Wars? Whether it's live action TV, a movie, a
Yeah.
cartoon, an action figure, like
Yeah.
new Star Wars of any kind makes us pretty happy, I think.
Yep. Or at least it should. I'm not a member of the keyboard warriors that are all set to prepare to shit all over it. So
Oh yeah, well, didn't they pre-hate it?
yeah.
Yesterday before anyone even saw it,
Yeah.
based on the credits or the color of the logo.
Or whether or not there are Easter eggs in it.
Yeah, there better not be too many Easter eggs. Nobody likes those at all,
Right.
especially me. Like that's like why I'm looking forward to seeing this is I want to see stormtroopers and I want to see spaceships battling in space and some droids and aliens and I guarantee you I'm gonna get all those. So.
Well, I don't know. I mean, based on the trailer, I mean, obviously there will be stormtroopers at some point, but you'd think that in some of the early episodes, you'd be seeing more clone troopers.
Yeah, well, that's cool. We're gonna see an evolution between,
Yeah,
the Phase 2 clone trooper and what we know as the OG. Or I guess we get the OG stormtroopers first, and then we get the Phase 2 clone troopers. So
yeah,
I'm not sure how that's gonna go, but I guess I hope, in my personal opinion, I hope we see more of the stormtroopers than the clone
yeah.
troopers, and I hope we see at least one all new kind of snow trooper, stormtrooper,
Oh, you
scout
gotta
trooper, whatever
think.
you want to call it. I know we're gonna get something that's cool that
Well,
maybe we haven't seen in a trailer yet.
well, I think there's some new Black Series figures that alluded to some new looking shore troopers minimally.
Have you seen anything? Was
Yeah,
there anything in the trailer?
not in the trailer, but some of the reveals for I think it's a Target exclusive has a
Oh,
new
okay.
shore
Yep.
trooper. It's essentially a shore trooper with some new paint on
Just some new paint. Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I do like that helmet.
Yeah,
I kind of like what's the one called from Solo? Patrol Trooper.
yeah, yeah.
That's kind of my favorite new
I think
trooper so far.
I think you hooked me up with one of those actually
Yeah, those are pretty cool, man. Just
earlier
a
in the
good
year.
mix
Yeah,
between the stormtrooper,
yeah,
and a biker scout. The color scheme with a little extra black. I like that
yeah.
one. So we got Dave's Dimensions, Ed 5. Welcome, guys. Either one of you guys want to pop on and have a couple predictions or wants or things you're excited for in this new series of Andor. They gone? How you doing?
How's it going?
Well, that's okay. Hopefully, we're not spoiling anything here, guys. So just some people that are staying up late in the left coast to watch the show. And Eric, what'd you say here? You're in a central
Yeah,
time zone.
yeah. I'm in the Chicagoland suburbs.
Okay, so you're almost East Coast, right? You are East
Almost.
Coast, right?
Yeah, I'm on the eastern side of Central Time Zone.
How long does it take you to get to the ocean
I
driving?
I've never driven to the ocean.
Oh, okay, okay.
I, I don't do much road trips.
I'm just trying to think where you are in my geography skills.
I'd imagine it would
Basically,
be like 15 hours minimum is my guess.
okay, so not as close as I thought. I guess is Atlanta would be kind of close to the ocean, right?
Closer, much closer.
Okay.
Uh,
Rolando, how you doing, buddy? So I haven't seen
Rolando
any
knows. Yeah.
spoilers or big leaks come out for the show that
Mm,
usually come out for Mandalorian and whatever Acolyte, any other stuff coming out. There's lots of little leaks and rumors and I guess actors announce they get cast and stuff, but we haven't really seen much other than um, the actors that they have shown in the trailers and that we already know are coming. Do you think we're going to see some other actors like Jimmy Smits, maybe?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
surely there's going to be some folks popping in that you would naturally expect to show up. I have to imagine that the lack of spoilers has to come down to the filming locations, right?
for sure. Yeah, yeah,
Because I think you when you get a lot of the filming around Southern California, you get a lot of people, hounding around those film sets, and they get some good views of what's going on. But I have no idea where they actually filmed Andor.
I
But
think in some cases they could like literally see out their
yeah,
apartment window, like
yeah,
because there's a
yeah.
lot of high rises and stuff close to some of these film locations, right?
Well, that and even if they have like, I think like where they've done a lot of the filming for Mandalorian and even Obi-Wan, like the volume is like surrounded by like a whole bunch of shipping containers or something, but like
Sure, yeah.
people will get like drones in or whatever, and I'm sure they
Ladders.
could do that in Andor, but I have to imagine they filmed in some more low-key locations where people weren't quite as, weren't expecting as much to have Star Wars be filming there. So I have to imagine they kept the sets locked down a lot more than they did even for the shows that were filming on the volume.
For sure, like the fact that they're kind of bragging about how much not in volume the show was made, right? Like a lot of
Yeah.
on location, whether in the mountains in Scotland. There, we know that from some of the trailers.
Mm.
But I wonder if we spend lots of time on some outdoor location scenes or planets.
It
We
looks
already
like
know
it.
there's some new planets, but is there going to be more? Like, I'm kind of missing seeing snowtroopers on a snow planet. So,
Yeah.
kind of think Andor would be a good show to maybe go to that location and introduce us to some more Imperial walkers and more snowtroopers and
Yeah.
speeder bikes and cool stuff like that.
I'm
Cool aliens to play with.
I'm a huge snowtrooper fan. Snowtroopers are my favorite variant.
Oh, absolutely, man. Empire Strikes Back is being my top movie. Yeah, everything to do with it is pretty much in my faves category as well. We got Darth Muzza here. How you doing, buddy?
How's it going?
All the Aussies here tonight. So I wonder what. Yeah, I guess they're like waking up and having their tea now, so they get to watch Star Wars with their morning breakfast.
I have to imagine it's more prime time for those
And
guys.
Linda as well. Welcome, Linda.
It's almost a quarter after 4 p.m. in us, well, in Sydney at least.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay. Hey Shane, how you doing? Uh-oh. Dave's worried about the keyboard warriors. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I'm gonna pull up ahead here. Hey, welcome, Paul. How you doing? Nice to see you. Oh no, well, hope you're doing well, Paul. We can always get in touch and get involved. I just wanna talk about these shows afterwards. So yourself and Eric and everyone else is always welcome to join and have a little discussion. This is the first time doing a little pre-show, but I don't think I want to continue doing an after show at 1 in the morning West Coast time, where I'm getting some hardcore fans to stay up here in the West Coast, maybe a couple in your time zone in the East Coast, and and several down under. So maybe on a weekend or something, a few days later is a little better idea. So I'll reach out to some of you guys and see if that sounds like a good idea. But good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you got a new helmet to show off soon. Yeah, hopefully we see some new troopers in this show that Paul can get a new helmet to show off that we all get jealous of. Hello, Kat. How you doing? So the last trailer I saw, I brought this up with someone last week. There's some spaceship flying with these red lasers and just take out everything. So I wonder if we see that in these first 4 episodes, or if half of that trailer is 6 episodes away or not.
I have to imagine that that's got to be one of the things that those keyboard warriors are gunning for. Like, if some ship in Andor can do something like that and just like slice through everything, why don't all ships get outfitted with something like that?
True, like it's you could say why aren't all lightsabers double-sided, or why does none of the armor that any of the troopers or soldiers wear stop blaster fire?
Yeah,
and basically, like, what's the point of it if Mandalorian armor, the Beskar seems to be the one thing that no armor comes close to. Really, we got, what's the other material in Star Wars? Blast steel. Like stuff that ships are made of, and walls and doors, like they tend to stop blasters.
Like Durasteel
for a little bit.
I can't remember the in-universe material that Stormtrooper armor is made of.
5 p.m. So they can have it before dinner.
Tip of my tongue.
But they also, I learned this from Usual Mike last year. He's like, no, Rick, we have like 7 time zones in Australia. Like, we're a big continent country. Like, and
Perth,
I'm like, I never even thought of that, right?
Yeah, Sydney, it should be like 4:15 now. Perth, I have to imagine, like in out there in the west, it's got to be a bit earlier.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I'd love to visit. I don't. It's hard for me to imagine how big it actually is. Comparing it to, looking at a map, right? Canada's also very big too, but we're spread apart as well. 1 a.m. Mountain Time, so that's an hour away from me. Shane's on West Coast here. Did you see that Disney special?
Yeah, the 10-minute. It was basically the scene with Cassian Andor and Stellan Skarsgård's character when they meet up.
Yeah, I didn't write down any names.
Luthen is his character's name. Yeah,
Andor, as he calls him. So,
Andor. Yeah.
Part of me thinks, okay, that's a cool accent from the actor, or maybe early on in the series his name is Andor and he changes it.
Yeah, I have to imagine that's Stellan Skarsgård, just the way he says something, and they're like, we won't correct him.
Because you would think, the first time you say it, they'd go, okay, now do it again, but say it correctly. Like, I wonder if that ever came up, or how many times he actually says it, because I'm sure he says it several times throughout the movie.
Well, it's like it goes back to the original trilogy, and like Billy D. Williams saying Han. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and George Lucas is like, it's space opera. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, everyone pronounces stuff differently. So I appreciate that too, because even in the Solo movie, you hear how that Lando says it, and everyone, it's all a little bit different, but it's like here, even just hearing someone from Australia or from the UK say it, it sounds different. It's the same word. We all get it.
It's funny you mentioned that at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago in 2019. I had this discussion with one of the members of the Lucasfilm story group, Leland Chi, because they have like Star Wars versions of like real life items. Like in Star Wars, coffee is called calf, right?
Okay.
And they have a vegetable or whatever fruit or whatever called a potato. So I'm like, hey Leland, like I met him at the what do you call it, the Second City in Chicago. They had some Star Wars night. So
right on.
I'm a big fan of the Second City. And if anyone isn't familiar, you should definitely check them out. A lot of the funniest people on earth since like the
well, as a Canadian,
70s,
we're sworn by watching SCTV in the 70s and 80s. That was part of my childhood, staying up, because that was midnight, 1 a.m. always, like every night in Canada. It was a staple, if you must.
Well, the Second City's like a comedy kind of shtick. They've got one in in Toronto, and some most funny Canadians came through that and ended up on like SNL and whatnot. In any case, I was talking to Leland Chi in the queue for this, and I'm like, hey, like you've got this thing called a potato in there, like not a tomato or potato, they've got a potato. Wouldn't it be funny if you had a like discussion in Star Wars, like is it potato or potato?
Yeah, for sure. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, there's no, my mouse is gonna die.
Ruh-roh.
I don't need that anyway. There's nothing. What else did I see? I saw today a still from a trailer that I never really noticed in trailer, but I guess one of the rooms the guy has a lot of props.
Oh, I know what you're
collectibles, whatever you want to call them in Star Wars lore. But one of them appears to be like Plo Koon's mask.
Yep, I saw that.
Master. So
I'm
wondering if that means we did see him die, correct? Like,
you saw his
shot in his ship.
Yeah, you saw him get shot down in Revenge of the Sith during Order 66. Who knows if his face mask was disintegrated? You'd assume his species had something. Well, I don't know. Yeah, like I don't.
Or was it like a one of a kind mask?
Right.
That's what I'm kind of wondering.
Yeah. So it could be something common for his species. I don't think we've seen on screen in live action or in animation or even like in the comics any other member of his race. So
yeah, I guess you're right. Not that I can think.
No, I'm wrong. In Star Wars Resistance, I think one of the racers was of the same race and had a similar mask.
Oh, okay. What do you know what that race is called?
Well, it's like one of the
Plo Koon is no, I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, let's call on Wikipedia.
Yeah, Shane knows what I'm talking about. Rest in peace, John Candy.
Keldor.
Okay, it's a name I have heard. It's just I guess it's never spoken in the movies or the cartoons and whatnot.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the other character in Star Wars Resistance. Keldor.
And it was just a fighter pilot.
Yeah, it was just like a racer. The character's name was Bo Keevil. It was like yellow. His ship was yellow, and his jumpsuit was like yellow and black. But he had a similar type of mask.
This is that one where they just raced on that planet, right?
Yep. Yeah. On the yeah.
I watched that. I think I watched every one of those episodes. Like
it was two seasons, and then they tanked it.
Wasn't my favorite of the modern Star Wars cartoons.
Yeah,
I do like those. I think they're called Galaxy of Adventures. The little 1, 2, 3 minute ones they have that retell, a lot of the Star Wars stories. Those are pretty well done. It's a cool art style. I'm a big fan of that Spider-Man, Spider-Verse movie just because of the style. Like, I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, but the way that cartoon was done was top of the line by me, man. Like, I appreciate how much work must have went into that, and they're trying to change the game a little bit, like how they make movies and what it looks like, and it's trying to be original is hard these days.
Yeah.
Then did you guys have that SCTV show on at all in the States? That show, because it was
not that I know of, but Dave would be a lot
Saturday Night Live kind of thing.
Dave would be a lot closer to the border, so he made.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Niagara Falls area.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I lived in the East Coast of Canada in Ontario, and I got a lot of the New York State, Rochester, local news, all that kind of stuff.
Because I think there's some good documentaries and even dramatizations of like how Saturday Night Live got like started and whatnot, and they basically poached everyone from National Lampoon radio show.
Mm-hmm.
and they got people from the second city. So
Yeah, there's some good documentaries on the roots of SCTV and Saturday Night Live, as well as I think just last year on Amazon on the Kids in the Hall.
yeah.
Those
Yeah.
those guys too, and that's a pretty good documentary as well.
Yeah, I'm watching I haven't finished all of them, but the new season of Kids in the Hall on Prime.
Yeah, I've watched all those. It's I can't say I love every single one of their skits.
Sure.
I do, but I totally appreciate them and love them, much like the Trailer Park Boys and stuff like that.
I've never watched that.
Oh my God, it's there's nothing else like it. I'm not going to just brag and say how good it is, but you'll never see another show like it again, and you never see one like it before. Some of the characters and stuff on there are the most original, and it's funny. As a Canadian, I appreciate it as well. Not that they're like typical Canadians in any way, shape, or form, but
Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, they're like in a trailer park in Nova Scotia, which is like way East Coast Canada.
Okay.
And that's not a typical, Canadian in any way, but it's a very funny show with J-Rock being my favorite character. He's like the white rapper guy. Who's done lots of other shows too, but that's my favorite character of his.
All right. Yeah, I haven't seen that. I'll have to check it out sometime. Tons of different seasons or things I've seen online. I think they're on Netflix here. But
so now characters for the Andor show, like again, we're thinking Easter eggs and maybe things that we want to see. Is there some characters, aliens, ships, maybe from the prequels, or related to the Rogue One show? Because I rewatched Rogue One tonight, that you want to see or hope see show up, that maybe they died in Rogue One, but this is going to have a prequel kind of effect, right? So many of those people will be alive, including Jyn Erso.
I'm not sure we're going to see Jyn Erso, or even Galen Erso for that matter. I think if anyone, it might be within reason to maybe see Krennic, which would be awesome. Krennic's my favorite Imperial.
I have a feeling we'll see lots of Imperials,
but I don't think they're going to tie this as much to the Death Star.
I totally think we're going to see a Death Star being built, much like we did in Return of the Jedi, the Death Star 2 under construction. I think we're seeing that again. Like
I think you might. I think you'd be more likely to see subtle, or not necessarily subtle, but nods to it being like mining operations. It would be really cool to see, like, not cool, like it horrible and whatnot in universe, but like a whole bunch of enslaved Wookiees, right?
Yeah,
or Geonosians, right? Because
any kind of alien species would be different. So Krennic, I hope we see some original trilogy Imperial people that are older men, like the older senators are now Veers and different generals and commanders in the Imperial Army. We need to see those names or some of those characters show up, similarly to how Rogue One brought back like Yellow Leader and Red Leader. Like that was just an old clip, an unused clip that they just brought back and used in Rogue One in a cool, fighter approach scene. So, and then also they did the de-aging of Tarkin and Leia. I wonder if we'd see a de-aged Tarkin again, because he's a key Imperial officer and a character in this series, as far as we know from the beginning, kind of thing. So I wonder if we see him and Veers or other Imperials as they're lower in the ranks and work their way up, because we just see a bunch of guys with coffee cups. The trailer seems to show all these different Imperial things going on. So I wonder if it's going to be a heavy show, and we learn a lot more about what their inner problems or their inner politics and stuff that we got a lot of in the prequels.
It would be cool. it'd be cool to see. Oh God, what's the there's there's the guy that Cassian kills at the beginning of Rogue One. His one
Yeah, the
informant.
little informant guy. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be cool if he had a bigger role or showed up and like their relationship started, whether it's in this first season or a subsequent season of Andor.
Yeah, I wonder if the second season of Andor ends when Andor arrives on that planet, like as Rogue One kind of started with him arriving on that planet and meeting with that guy.
They explained how the timing of this, because they're only doing what 2 seasons, or is it 2 seasons or
2 seasons, and the first season's going over like 2 years, and the second season's going over like 5 years or something.
Yeah, right. And I think each episode in the second season, I think will be like spanning a lot more. Like there'd be a big time gap between each episode. I think is their current,
which is interesting. I think we've seen it in the Mandoverse, but not as drastic as an obvious, with a longer hair or your appearance change stuff. Baby Yoda, we didn't see him like grow, but years have gone by since we've originally seen the character, believe it or not. So yeah, Mon Calamari's planet would be totally cool. Like, as far as I know, the only water planet we've seen was well, no, we got something in the water in Mandalorian where we got those Tessic kind of squid guys with sweaters, those cable knit sweaters on the boats. That was some kind of a water planet, but they were also living above on the land. So I wonder if they're underwater creatures, like if they can swim. And I guess I've seen them swim in comics. So what's that one Jedi with the bug eyes?
Kit Fisto.
Yeah, he's even a different kind of alien fish kind of guy.
Nautilin is the species.
Nautilin?
Yeah.
Hello, Milky Way. How you doing?
Hey. Another character that would be cool and kind of help tie things together is there's in the Clone Wars, he's Admiral Wolf Yularen. He's the narrator, but after during the Age of the Empire, he's demoted to Colonel Yularen, and he's made into like the head of, or like a high-ranking officer in the ISB. So it would be cool to see some more hardcore like CIA operations of like the Imperial Security Bureau. So the white shirts. Yeah,
because I'm assuming. Well, I'm guessing that might be what that is. I'm glad you said that, because like we know Cassian Andor, he is like a spy. Like he's like a little bit of, it has a little different rules than everyone else. We're acting like this is real. It's not real. But yeah, we've never seen an Imperial side of that. We've just seen stormtroopers and bounty hunters. No kind of more educated, more specialized spy type of people. But yeah, good point. Like, I'm wondering if we see a lot of Imperial inside stuff. It'd be pretty interesting because, even though we all want good in the world, we all like the bad guys. We're all interested in them and their characters and their costumes and ships.
Yeah, we've got I think in the chat K2, that would be natural. Although I'm not sure if they're going to have Cassian meet K2 in this season or maybe the next season, but they have to bring Alan Tudyk in for that at some point.
Think. Absolutely, man, and it's going to happen. There's not going to be any conflicts. They'll make it happen. I think it'll happen before the season ends, but maybe like the final episode, he's like does the reprogram or something like.
Yeah,
so a cliffhanger, so to speak, but. Yeah, I think even in the trailer, when we see some of those white shirts doing some work, it looks like it might be a K2SO style droid that they're building or disassembling or recycling or whatever it is they're doing. Right? You never know. I love the droids too. So as cool as a droid that is, it'd be cool to see another droid.
Well, we're going to get a new droid with Cassian's.
That red one.
Yeah, B2 Emo.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that what I was looking for was like a hero droid.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
not
that will be the new hero droid.
not like a Wally type of, because it seems like
It looks a lot like a Wally.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a huge Wally and
Oh, I love.
Eva fan. Like that was a
Yeah.
fantastic show.
Yeah.
And I did pick up a couple of Wally toys. They were pretty hard to resist.
Jar Jar would be interesting.
Yeah, I'm thinking for like, you know, what was I saying before? I don't know their names, but in the prequels there was a man with like a big white beard. I think his name was like Sio Bibble. I just seem to remember that name. But characters like that were just, you know, they were Republic senators, if that were called. They were senators, but they were like, you know, there was no imperial senators. They were senators, but this is going to be like shortly after that. And it just becomes the Imperials take over the government, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
And some of those guys just turn like we see with Mon Mothma and these characters. They're just part of it now. Like they don't have an option. So I wonder if we see a lot of those characters separate of Bail Organa, like some of those senators, you know, we saw in the episodes 1, 2, and 3. I'm curious about that.
Yep.
Now it makes me thinking about battle droids. Like I wonder if that becomes those aliens built those, right? Geonosians or something.
Yeah, mainly. Yeah.
And that was like Dooku met up with them. So okay, now I'm reaching.
You'd have to think that if this is if this is going over the genesis of the rebellion, you'd have to think that, you know, the rebellion built its fleet. Okay, sure, they had the like Mon Calamari fleet, but they had X-wings and Y-wings, and the Y-wings were from the Clone Wars. So like, how did they get those Y-wings, right? Like, did they, you know, is there maybe a mission to? And I think there was a Rebels episode around stealing a whole bunch of old Y-wings that were about to be scrapped. It would be cool. It'd be cool to do some more of that, and maybe that would be a bit too repetitive to, you know, go steal Y-wings. But it would be cool to see like, how do they actually, you know, fund a rebellion and outfit it with you know, weaponry and whatnot.
Yeah. One character I'm just thinking now from the Rogue One, that little alien, kind of half monkey looking. I think his name might have been Bistan or Bistan.
Oh, Bistan, yeah, Space Monkey. I love that guy.
I'm pretty sure he died in a crash.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But I'm like, I wonder if some of those characters, even the blue leader with the mustache, if some of those people
Merrick,
Merrick, were associated or you know, friendly with the Andor character that we know from Rogue One, like, because we don't really see a little bit of any backstory at all. This is what this is all about. So I can't see why they wouldn't have some of those characters, like, just as something. Can't be just him solo the whole time, or can it be?
Bring in Radice and Akbar. I think someone in the chat Shane was mentioning that. Yeah. So
yeah, because Radice, the first time we got to meet that character was Rogue One, correct?
Right. Yeah.
And I wonder if he has any relation, you know, familiar wise, with Adam Akbar at all. If it's a popular position of military for a Mon Calamari species to be a general.
Well, in the story, like in the comic, I think it was in the comics. I can't recall which one, but they came from opposite ends of Mon Calamar or Mon Cala, the planet, which is why Radice,
like Scotland and England.
Yeah, which is why Radice was like darker in complexion.
Different color,
because he was on like the darker side of the planet with less light.
Okay, it makes sense. You know, in make believe land, right? So Shane, I think one episode from the first 4 is 40 minutes. I think the rest are all under 40, but I think I saw 25, like 30, 35, something like that. So almost 2 hours. We're gonna get like a little movie's worth for our little preview. And from what I've heard, because some people have seen it, have said it feels like a movie and it kind of starts and ends, and it feels like a movie. These 3 episodes, so it kind of sets us up to like, oh, we really want to see the 4th episode. So it's this. That's what I kind of saw today.
Well, I think be careful because from what I saw on Twitter, there were some people that got early access to see not just the first 3 episodes, but
the
first
4th.
4.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I have kind of stayed away, and I scroll my Twitter pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't see, and I don't follow lots of people that tend to share spoilers and stuff. So yeah, that Bistain was played by Warwick Davis, I believe.
Yeah.
And Warwick also was that a guy in Solo. So I wonder if we get to see, and now Warwick's working again. He's being Willow, but I wonder if we see Warwick again in this show, because we were talking about that Bistain character.
That character he played in Solo is the same character that he played in the Phantom Menace.
Oh yeah, that's right, because he was in his hands, right?
Over with Jabba, yeah,
which looks like Willow.
Yeah.
They should have made that action figure.
Yeah,
that character that says that. I think his name is Seal Bibble.
Yep, you're right.
I just have a feeling we see. I think that guy's in a trailer, and just I don't know. He's got a different haircut or beard cut, and nobody's really recognized him.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I could be reaching really far, but I have a feeling besides Mon Mothma, we're going to see a few of those more senator type people that we'll find out which of them maybe was good and became bad, or vice versa. Like this, what's the actor's name again? The main,
Diego Luna.
The other guy, the main guy from the trailer.
Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah, Stellan.
Yeah.
So that character, is he going to end up being part of this rebellion, or is he going to
seems like it
be a bad guy and he's just a spy, or doing treachery and bad things?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you never know, but I think they, based on what we see, he's an ally of or more aggressively into starting the rebellion than maybe Mon Mothma even is. Like, she needs some convincing.
Yeah, because I know at one point there's another scene in one of the last trailers where he's all dressed up fancy, like, and his hair's long. So I wonder if that's many years before as well. Like,
could be a time. Could be time jump. It could be him just being two-faced and whatnot, trying to put on a show for the rest of the Imperials, saying, "Oh, everything's okay. Let's get drunk on power."
And young Boba bounty out with Cad Bane. Yeah, and I'm such a fan of any character, like any OG character or just familiar alien species to me, which I think is no problem. And if people complain about that, then see you later.
Well,
like, it doesn't always have to be brand new alien creatures every time there's a new Star Wars series. There can be Greedos and Hammerheads and boss type aliens, and lots of these aliens now we've seen from the animated Clone Wars and whatnot, Rebels, like the Twi'leks. These characters, these same aliens are being used throughout all the Star Wars properties, and that's what I like. So that's what's going to make me happy, especially the story.
We are seeing some based on some images, at least images that have been shown officially through Lucasfilm. Some characters and species showed up in Rogue One, especially related to Forrest Whitaker's
his little crew.
Yeah, his crew.
The Two Tubes character. I would like
Edrio and Benthic, Two Tubes, and then you get the more what's the big white furry.
Oh dude. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's in the background, and you see either an X-wing or a headhunter in the
that big furry
background.
creature. He was pretty cool. He didn't get much screen time. What's another character from that same group?
Well, Bib Fortuna's cousin is in that. Is in the
Oh, that's
Partisans
right.
group. Yeah.
Yeah. And very interesting. Yeah, because there's a lot of characters that we haven't seen in live action that are animated characters that I think are good. We're going to see a couple of Filoni's characters show up in this show as well, just because they exist, and this show might even introduce them in live action.
Yeah.
Do you think we see Darth Vader? Or do you think Darth Vader's name is mentioned in the first 3 episodes?
I think we're more likely to see Darth Vader or the Emperor's like them directly, or
Oh, I didn't even think
holograms.
of the Emperor. Jesus, the Emperor has
Holograms
to be in
of.
it.
I think we're more likely to see one of them or references, like more direct references to them than to Jedi.
Yeah, like that's the thing too about Jedi. Like
Possibly
Jedi
even
exist.
Inquisitors.
Like
Yeah.
how could they have 12 episodes or something, and a Jedi, and there'd be Star Wars battles and different things going on different planets.
It's
Yeah,
a big universe, but
it is a big universe. But I think the Emperor is like trying to take control of it all. So,
but I think it would be more likely that you see like holograms or holovids
yeah, so holograms are always cool. Yeah,
of the Emperor giving some speech to the rest of the Empire on Empire Day. It might be like something about like, oh, how glorious the Empire is, and
when is
we're
Empire
here
Day?
to. Sorry,
I got to put Empire Day in my calendar because I'm sure there is a day.
I'm not sure if there's a real
Max
life. Oh, that would be it would be cool to get some like more low key references, even like Figrin Dan in the modal nodes.
Yeah, like what? Who says there can't be a band in Andor, right?
Yeah.
It could have like 3 brand new alien creatures playing too, like and another droid, like we saw in a book Book of Boba Fett show. That's like a lot of people hated on that show. I still love it just as much as the rest, man. Like,
hey man, I'm with you.
he was riding a Rancor for crying out loud with Danny Trejo teaching him how to do it. Like, yeah, nothing but love for that. So, with the Andor, do you have high expectations, or
Yes.
you think, oh no, they might fail, or I think no matter what,
no,
I'm
because
gonna be happy.
Here's the thing with me. No matter what they do, I will be happy because it's new Star Wars,
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
and I'm easy to please. It sounds like you're in the same camp. I might there might be things that have like criticisms, but new Star Wars is new Star Wars, and I'm of the opinion that like it's not worth getting too bent out of shape about certain things for new Star Wars, because the more you complain, the less likely it is that we get more new Star Wars in the future, right?
Like, exactly. If nobody said nice things about it, we won't get new Star Wars. So yeah,
go back to the dark times.
There is, still a huge fan base. Like I'm gonna say, it far outweighs, the haters or the people that want to hate on, some of the stuff that gives us joy even before we see it. We're kind of expecting to get some joy out of it. I don't think there's anything they can do that would ruin it for me, because there's people in charge of that stuff you can't do that because you would piss off 3 billion people. Like, of course they're not gonna mess up any of our beloved characters, like for one thing, right?
But what they will, the biggest complaint that you'll see with Andor, I would expect, is the discussion of, oh, keep politics out of Star Wars.
Yeah, but we have to understand it's a huge part of it. Like,
you're rebelling against like a tyrannical, fascist regime. Like, how is that not political?
If it's a lot of these, fandom menace people, or whatever you want to call the groups that like to spread the hate. Most of them are in America, and they just went through the weirdest, almost like Star Wars movie political drama over the past 4 or 8 years in their country. So Yeah, but politics is involved a little bit in Star Wars. So is religion, and
Yeah.
so is just storytelling and fantasy and make believe, right? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's just enjoy it for what it is. If it's really, really, really bad, like low budget and the acting's bad, and every episode we see like, the blue jeans guy or the green screen or the Starbucks coffee mug, like every episode, then complain, man. Make your videos and complain, and
You have to you have to figure there might be like one cock up like blue jeans guy or the set being
I don't
shown.
know how that's even possible, man. Like, because apparently they had another one this year, with the guy's fingers. He had some green tape on it
Oh
because
yeah.
in post he was missing the fingers because he's got grayscale or whatever. But apparently on the show, he's just there and you see like the green fingers, and then they haven't erased it yet. But the day after,
This isn't House of the Dragon you're talking about?
House of the Dragon, yeah. But the day after, they went back and they fixed it.
Okay.
So
I
his
didn't hear
fingers are
about
now
that,
erased in that the latest episode of.
I didn't hear about that one. But yeah, but that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I think that's more funny than anything.
I just don't know how it makes it past. Like, that's just people's jobs. My job is, as I'm the editor, if that's the correct job,
Yeah.
is to
I'd have
find
to-
that.
Yeah, find it in post
and fix it. And then someone else's job is to fix it with,
Shit happens
their
though.
Adobe programs.
We're all human, right?
It's almost like they did it really fast. Do you know what I mean? But
They're
they can also
deadlines,
fix it really fast.
Yeah.
But I didn't notice it in the show. I noticed it 2 days later. Someone brought it up on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, okay.
But that
cool
to me,
know.
that to me, I think just adds to the mythology of the show. And 10, 20, 30 years later, we're going to be talking about, do you remember Blue Jeans guy?
Yeah,
Wasn't that hilarious?
It'll be a huge part of pop culture. Our grandkids will be talking about him, eh?
Yeah.
Have you been watching either the House of Dragons or Lord of the Hobbit, whatever it's called?
Yes, I've been watching both.
And I'll tell you right now, I like the Dragon one a lot better than the Lord of the Rings one. Based on the first 3 or 4 episodes.
I like them both. I've never read any of
I agree, Michael.
the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit or any Tolkien work. So I just go. I mean, I haven't read any of the Game of Thrones.
No, I have not either. No,
but I do feel it's easier to come into Game of Thrones and absorb that than it is for Lord of the Rings. It's not quite. Game of Thrones doesn't feel quite as big as Lord of the Rings, so for a more casual fan, it's easier to consume. Although it's still not easy because there's tons of houses and history and whatnot. But
see, I kind of think it's all the same.
It's very similar,
but it's just made by 2 different people, and one is just made better. Not that because it has dragons and incest and a little bit more violence and stuff like that. It's made better. All the characters so far in the Dragon show, I'm like, they're making a good story for them, whether they're good people or bad people. And now I think the next episode, not to change this to Dragon Talk, but the main character, the actress who plays the Targaryen girl, is now a new actress. She bumps up 10 years or so. So
same with the woman, Allison. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. Okay, you get the first 5 episodes. Great actress too. She did superb. So hopefully we see some flashbacks or something with her again.
Yeah, I think I heard that for the next season that those actresses are coming back to play the young versions.
Wow, that would be very cool too.
I'm not sure if that's confirmed, but I thought I heard something. And if they don't, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite parts, Linda. I am Boba Fett. I'm so used to. I'm not a prequels kid, but I love Tamara Morrison from that. That's where he's new.
Yeah.
That's where he was given to us. And his voice and his accent is, a big part of that character to me now. Because his voice wasn't really a thing in original trilogy. It was there. It was digital, and it's he's got 3 lines, right?
It wasn't
But it
like
wasn't
a
Australian.
Maori guy, like from New Zealand. Yeah.
No, it definitely didn't. It didn't have the Australian Maori kind of accent, but
Yeah.
it's still when you hear Django talk or Boba Fett talk, you can get it. You know, it's but unfortunately, he had his helmet on most of the time. So most of his dialogue was just as you know, the Australian guy. And that's what I was gonna all the accents in the Lord of the Rings and these House of Dragons show. I love them. I love all the different accents they have. Even the frickin' trolls have accents. Like they're British trolls. And I'm like, why would they have okay, but now I'm reaching wondering why they got accents, but
well, no, I mean like they're trying to draw like real world parallels and whatnot. So
yeah, exactly. So if I'm not mistaken, it's gonna be on any minute here, guys. So
Dave's saying they're on now.
I am staying up to watch the first 3 episodes, and
likewise.
I hope everyone enjoyed hanging with me and Sean for a little bit as we I think Sean's going to stay awake now that he's awake, or Eric, excuse me.
It's all good.
Enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone. Morning, afternoon, and good night. Enjoy Andor, and I think the rebellion begins right about now.
Yeah, I'm checking on Disney Plus, streaming tomorrow. Yeah, the episodes are live in over here. So
okay, cool, man. Let's go watch some Andor, everybody.
Yeah, we got new Star Wars. Have a good one.
Happy Star Wars.
See you, Rick.
Cheers.